enough is enough.
I want the world to be the best place for my children.
You are not alone.
We need renegades to be part of this movement, and they're the ones that are going to change the world.
Welcome back to Renegade Radio, the podcast dedicated to the dissenters of the status quo, bringing you the mindset and strategies to build a healthier, happier, and stronger family, the Renegade way.
It's so important to be a renegade.
Welcome back to another episode of Mindset Monday. This is Dr. Todd Gignac, your host on Renegade Radio. Today's topic is, are you aiming too low? Is it your moral and ethical obligation to aim high in life and achieve success? I think it is, and I know that Mr. Grant Cardone would agree if you read his book, The 10X Rule, which I highly recommend. He goes pretty deep into why it is your moral and ethical obligation to be successful in life. Now, I think it's appropriate to briefly define success as we go through this topic. Does success, the world teaches us, and Hollywood would tell us that success means you got a bunch of money and big houses and flash cars and so on and so forth. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but I would say those are more a byproduct of success, but they don't equal success themselves. In other words, there's a lot of millionaires out there and billionaires who are miserable. They're not happy. They're not healthy. Their relationships are destroyed. They've been through numerous marriages. They don't talk to their kids, right? I wouldn't associate that with success, right? So when I'm talking about success, finances, or at least being in a good financial state, would be a part of being successful. But look, if I had to trade my health and happiness and relationships for money, I would never do it, right? So I'd rather have, $10 in my account and a beater car and a small house if I'm healthy, happy, and have wonderful relationships with the people around me. But since we're talking about success and aiming high, why don't we talk about having it all? All right. Now we're going to keep this contextually so that we can make this happen in about 10 minutes here. But really just to fuel your mind and about where we're going. So when it comes to success, are you aiming too low? Because that's easy to do as well. We've been conditioned, in my opinion, by society, by the systems, we'll call it the control system, the schooling system, our parents, teachers, preachers, about, don't aim too high, don't rock the boat, don't stick your head up, just keep your head down, go to school, get good grades, get a job, and so on and so forth. And there's not inherently anything wrong with that. But is that what you really want to do? And is that what you determine to be success? And are you waking up every day like, shit, yeah, I can't wait to get to work or get to my business or whatever I got to do today because I'm charged and I'm excited and I'm making a difference. However, if you're getting up every day and going, oh, yep, another day I got to get through, I think you would agree that there should be some alarms going off. If you're just waiting week to week to get to the weekend, to have a couple days off only to wake up on Monday and go, oh, it's another Monday, brutal. My friends, listen, time to make a change. And why won't you make a change? Probably because you're afraid. Well, what if, I got a paycheck, got to have a paycheck, got to pay the bills. I get that and I respect that. And that's responsible and you're taking care of yourself and your family and your obligations. However, you're not doing yourself, your friends, or family if you're miserable day in and day out and you're not achieving what you've been called to do and God's greater purpose for you and what would bring you great joy. And you may have to, in the short term, make some sacrifices and go through some pain and get some blood and sweat in order, in the long run, to achieve the life you want and to leave a legacy, I started this podcast because I got to thinking, hey, not because I have nothing else to do and I'm not busy. We have a successful practice as a doctor. I'm studying all the time. I'm traveling a lot. So I'm plenty busy. But I also realized that if I really wanted to leave, as Steve Jobs would say, a dent in the universe, if I wanted to make a difference and leave some sort of legacy and something my children would be proud of and my grandchildren, I realized I had to get outside the walls of my office, out of the confines of what I consider to be, kind of normal. You go in, you do your job, and you kind of stick to that. Well, how can we go one bigger? How can we go one better? And what I'm going to do right now is I'd love to read a quote for you by one of my favorite past presidents, U.S. presidents, which is Teddy Roosevelt. So here we go. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man, or we'll say woman, who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends herself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. That's Teddy Roosevelt, the man in the arena speech, right? Get in the arena, right? There's no, you're not doing yourself, your family, the world any good by staying outside of the arena for fear or you know, what holds us back? The big things that hold us back, there's those fears. Like even for me to do this show, I could have plenty of fears, and I do. You know, what if I don't sound right? What if I say the wrong thing on this show? What if people are listening? What if I'm judged, criticized, attacked? And it doesn't matter. You know, it just does not matter, because if I let all those things hold me back, then that's just where I'm going to stay, stuck. And there's no beauty in playing small. The world needs you to play big. You need to play big. And there's a great future out there. You know, you've got one short life. I was just talking with Carolina earlier today, which kind of sparked this podcast topic, was, you know, I'm 41 years old. And it was yesterday I was 21 years old. Woohoo! Right? And with all the aspirations and dreams and being young. And I still see myself, to be honest, I still feel like and act probably like I'm 21 years old, which is great, but I know that I'm not. I know that I'm 41. And in another 20 years, I'll be 61. And I don't want to look back with regret and go, boy, I had all these opportunities. I could have done things differently. I could have contributed more, produced more, done more. I could have been a better doctor. I could have been a better friend, a better parent, a better husband. And there is no perfect, gang. I'm not here sitting here on a high horse like I've accomplished, you know, done this, and I'm a perfect husband and a perfect father, and I'm not perfect at anything, gang. But what I'm saying is, are we pursuing excellence because we've been called to? That you've been put on this earth to do great things. And unfortunately, some of us might not ever discover what is that. What is my greater purpose? But I would strongly encourage you to go deep into thought, prayer, meditation about what exactly, if you're not sure, are you supposed to be doing? What is your right livelihood? How are you supposed to be contributing? How are you supposed to be giving back? And when you find that, you'll find that you'll have joy in your work. And usually, again, the byproduct of that will be success in a lot of ways, right? Whether it be financially, whether it be emotionally, a sense of fulfillment, happy relationships with those around you. I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it? I'm going to read you another quote. This one's by Michelangelo. Probably heard of him, you see? And why have you heard of Teddy Roosevelt and Michelangelo? Because they played small, because they stayed outside the arena, because they did what everyone else told them was the right thing to do? Or do you think they were renegades of their time, right? Did they buck the system? Did they say, no, this is where we're going. This is the way I see it, and this is what needs to be done, and this is how I'm going to contribute, and this is how I'm going to make waves. Any one of these guys, they all had their critics. Michelangelo had critics. You better believe Teddy Roosevelt had critics. But here we are, you know, years, decades, hundreds of years later, talking about these people. And in 100 years from now, we'll still be talking about them. Right? So Michelangelo, the greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and hitting our mark. Ooh. Let me say that again. The greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short. Right? That's what we're afraid of. Oh, what if I fail? You know, what if I take some risk, or I make some sacrifices and I fail? Well, worse than that is setting your aim too low and achieving your mark and actually hitting that mark. Because if you hit a mark that you set that's too low, that's below what you're capable of, below what God set out for you, then what? Now you're stuck in that roller coaster. You've settled for mediocrity. You get into a rut, into a groove, and then the years start ticking by, right? It's short, man. Carpe diem. We've got to make this stand now. You've got to make a change today, right? We're going to be, I'm putting out a book, an ebook pretty soon. You can go to therenegadefamily.com, therenegadefamily.com, opt in. We'll let you know as soon as the book is out. And we're going to chunk all this down. There'll be some resources, an action guide, so you can actually start to put this together. But don't wait till then. Start now. Go get Grant Cardone's book, The 10X Rule. It's fantastic. It's an easy read. It's fun to read. And if that doesn't get you charged up and excited, then, I'm not really sure what is. But stay plugged into the podcast. There's a lot of great ones out there. Get your head into it. This is Dr. Todd from My Family to Yours. God bless. We'll catch you on the next show.
I love you, Daddy. We're counting on you. My mom is a renegade.
Thanks for tuning in to Renegade Radio. If you haven't yet done so, please subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a rating and review. Also, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TRFTribe. Please email us your questions for FAQ Friday, and we'll do our best to answer them in a future show. Simply email us at faq@therenegadefamily.com. If you got value from this episode and know someone else that would benefit from it as well, please share it with them.
Changing the world is going to start in your house. This is Dr. Todd, and from My Family to Yours, we wish you all the best. God bless, and we'll catch you soon.
Renegade.